Three, two, one, go! It is 7 o'clock on Thursday, November 14th, 2024. I'm Dave Lovan. You're not Boogie with the Bull. Uncensored for Thursday night is here. It really is. We're live on the Dave Lovan profile here on Facebook, and we're live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Both of you have live chats, and you are more than welcome to take part in the live chat here on Facebook and or the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Let me just get out of here for a second. I was going to do something, but you know what? I'm going to see if I can do something else. And working. That is not working. Why is that not working? Well, it's not working. Anyway, come on into the Boogie with the Bull live chat and tell me what is new and exciting in your day, and we will go from there. Anyway, let me kick this one up and kick that one up and kick this one. Whoop, wait a minute, can't do that. You can do it this way, but then I got to keep a watch on the screen. Get over here. I'm sorry. Technology is about 4 minutes behind this evening. Let's see. No, we're live on my profile. You can go there now and see what is going on. The dogs are barking in the background because it's Thursday night. It's my son is on the other half of the house. I'm here this half, and let me try to see if I can do what I wanted to do on that monitor over on this monitor. Tesla issues 6th Cybertruck recall this year. Keep telling people they don't want to buy a Tesla Cybertruck. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes reportedly involved in new FBI investigation. That site can't be reached, so probably don't want to read it and know about it anyway. Blue Bloods series finale air date and retrospective special confirmed. I'm going to read this one because this is important. I wish that Blue Bloods would still be going right now. I wish it was not going to end. And unfortunately, Blue Bloods will in fact end. I don't know exactly for sure what the conflict was, but evidently they don't seem to like Tom Selleck, and Tom Selleck seems to be unhappy with them. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're just going to perhaps kill him off or leave it where maybe something happens and they can launch it again with somebody else. Maybe another network will buy it. Anyway, it really doesn't matter in the course of reality, because in the course of reality, right now, it's time to do the Jen thing, because Jen, the homeschool mom, has joined us. And let's see, Chuck Cook is with us.
Hi, Chuck.
And even
Randy
Rhodes. Randy Rhodes.
Hey, you got the name right.
We're all here together. Well, Randall Rhodes, Randy Rhodes.
Hey, the thing about Blue Bloods, as I understand it, is that when the writers went on strike for asking for a huge amount of raises, okay,
Yep.
and they finally settled, giving them what they wanted. The owners of the Blue Bloods organization felt they could not continue to afford paying the wages of the actors after having paid off the writers. Now, the last I heard is Tom Selleck is fighting tooth and nail along with two of the other characters to keep the show going, if not on this format, on some other format. He said that the numbers of people watching the show outweighs the reasons for canceling the series.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if another network grabs it, or even if, like, Paramount or I don't want to say Netflix, but Netflix or Hulu
Well, it's on Paramount.
or somebody. Well, Paramount, I would think that they would do very well continuing on being live streamed on Paramount.
Well, that's where they're at.
Okay, well, I think they would continue doing well, even if if the owners of the show sell it to somebody else, and they continue to produce this. There are
Well,
plenty of stories of Tom Selleck asking or getting whatever raise he got every year in his new contract, and then taking a pay cut to make sure that all of the other characters were getting paid.
well, if you take notice, Dave, almost every conservative police force honoring program is being canceled. You're losing Blue Bloods. You lost the SEAL team, and you lost SWAT
Yeah,
and a couple other programs, all conservative, all heavily in support of the police department, and they're the ones getting nailed, not
yeah,
the idiot shows that are on the
yeah.
air.
Yeah. I know over on the NBC side on Wednesdays you have all the Chicago Fire, uh, Chicago Fire, Chicago Police, and and I think it's Chicago Med.
Now, see,
And
they cave to the left. It used to be where
we're on
they
NBC.
wouldn't hesitate to shoot a bad guy as they're running away, or using a lot more force than they are now. That they're trying to bring in is psychological to take this criminal just this
Yeah,
horrendous act to talk them down, to have them talk them to surrender. You can't shoot them from the back when they're running away. You have to use your backup gun first, which is the stun gun. You can't use extreme force. You can't chase a bad guy down the car after so many miles per hour. They caved, and that's
yeah,
why the Chicago's are still on.
yeah. I wish they would move it to Peacock, which is NBC's live streaming network, and just put it on Thursday night instead of
It
it airs
is
on NBC on Wednesday, and anything that airs on Peacock is usually one day after
correct.
it runs on NBC. But it's the same way on all of them because they want you to watch it on the network. Uh,
Yeah, because the Chicago's are on Peacock. They're on Thursdays.
yep. And Chuck is back from a few days of road service.
Oh,
If you need an escort, if you're a truck driver out there and you're running a load that needs an escort, and you're going to be through Wisconsin or anywhere in the Wisconsin area or coming back to Wisconsin, get a hold of Chuck. I don't know if he can book his own work or if he works for a company.
oh yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
booked this one by myself. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So make sure if you are a trucker out there, and I have a lot of friends on Facebook that are truckers, if you're going to be in the Wisconsin area or want to talk to Chuck and find out what areas he serves, because he was in Iowa a few days ago, make sure you contact Chuck
Well, thank you.
and help him. And if you're going to send your kids to school, you send them to the most hellacious, or whatever the word is, the best homeschool in the country. You send them to Wealth, where Jen, the homeschooling mom, is the headmistress or headmaster or whatever you want to call them, the principal, the head mom.
Jen, with Trump trying to tear apart the education borough and
Department of Education.
and put it back into the hands of the states.
Yep.
Do you see that as being a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a very good thing because when the government gets involved, it's all bad. Just know that it's all bad. The people in the states know what is best. They know what they want to pay for, and they know what they don't want to pay for. And this should never be a national thing. This should be a state thing. Just like, I don't even want to say it, abortion, but women's health care. Abortion is not women's health care. Who wants to get a surgery on something is so private. I mean, my God, don't they have pills and condoms? I cannot believe that the left is running on that. But back to education. Sorry to go off track. However, yeah, it would definitely or should definitely be something that goes to the state because we don't
Yeah.
want to hear about farming if we live in Alaska, and we don't want to hear about fishing if we live in, like, I'm sorry, Iowa. But you said the state, okay? It's an awesome state. I'm just saying, do they have a lot of lakes? Because I'm just guessing.
Iowa does, yeah. Yeah, Wisconsin has a lot of lakes. Yeah.
I was talking about Iowa.
Oh, hi, Jerry.
Can anybody hear me?
Jerry!
I can hear
Shake
you.
your
We
head.
need to- We need to get
I can't hear a
Restream
word
to
you're saying. This is the best show you
Yeah.
ever done, Dave.
No, I wasn't saying much other than in the beginning. I think I was having a nervous breakdown
see
because I
somebody
didn't
next
know.
to me I don't really recognize at all. Has been a while, but if I could hear the voice, I'd probably recognize the voice. I don't know. Something. All right, I'm going to go out and
Sorry.
come back in.
Okay. I actually told everybody tonight when I sent them the link that I was going to go live at 7:00 anyway, only because for some strange reason I had decided earlier in the day everybody who had said they were interested in being on tonight probably wouldn't show up tonight. So, and I had read a bunch of stuff. But I didn't make notes on things other than I posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook today that would have been worth talking about. Good evening, Tina Scott. Good evening, William Grant. Good evening, Chuck Cook. Good evening, everyone else who is watching. We are not live on X tonight because up until a couple of months ago, X used to allow me to link to my @BoogieWT Bull profile and tweet the broadcast out. Then they went professional, and now you have to have an X premium account and be an X live streamer or broadcaster. And I have not done that yet because that costs money, and that spending money defeats the purpose of the no budget broadcasting company.
Hey, Jim.
And if I have to spend money to get us on all these different social media networks, then the three people that surround my picture don't get a raise.
Don't worry.
We want that raise, okay?
Yeah, right. Whatever.
It's been a while since we had a raise, boss.
Well, I was thinking for 2025 you might get stock options.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, this
There
is
you
the
go.
company.
Yeah.
I
Never know.
think
You never
Jen
know.
should get 30%. Chuck should get 20%.
Give me 10. Give me 10.
You only want 10? Okay. So
Well, Chuck only wants 10 because he's new, so he only wants 10%.
I want majority stock.
You want majority stock? Well, for $1.25, you can probably own the no budget broadcasting company if that's really what you're out to. Did you guys hear, speaking of that Alex Jones InfoWars went up for a bankruptcy sale to bankruptcy auction today? The Onion bought it. What they're going to do with it, I don't know. If Alex is going to still be part of it, I don't know. But how much they got for it, I have no clue. I hope it's not the end of Alex Jones. It might be the end of InfoWars, but I kind of figured that, like most companies, go bankrupt under one name and that's something else. I hope it's not the end of Alex, but if it is, all good things come to an end, I guess, and there must be a reason why God has them come to an end. Good evening, Dr. David Nova, who's also watching. And let me see. I got to go back and get. I'd started to say to Jerry before he popped out, Restream needs to change it rather than there's a little itty bitty profile picture that shows a number, and that tells you whether or not someone's waiting, or you leave the green room cameras tab open so that you can know that, make sure everybody got connected. But they need to do something, or there needs to be like a bell so that, when you hear the bell, you go look and make sure you bring people in. But other than that, it's Thursday night.
Agree.
We're all here. And we were talking about the Boogie with the Bull 2025 raises. Jerry, you're in for about 75%.
75% of what exactly? Because I may have a problem with it.
Nothing. Nothing. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Air.
Yeah.
No taxes. Thank
Well,
God, no taxes.
I'm in on 100% on my show, Dave, and I've noticed that my lifestyle hasn't gotten better. So appreciate it.
So,
Hey, Jen,
Hey, Tina.
you made a comment earlier about the taxes, for, having the homeschooling or, back to the states
Right.
instead of the federal. Well, the states send the federal all this money. Well, there's the government has that education, whatever it is. They're not sending the
Budget.
states back their 100% money back to them. So
Right.
yeah, send it back to the states. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Good comment. Oh,
Thank you.
and I'll be right back. I can hear you.
Super. What we were talking about was education and how Trump said that we should not be having a national education fund, and everyone is like choking, like, oh my God, who's gonna teach my children? And it's not that he said we're not going to have the Board of Education. He's just saying it's not going to be nationally funded. And I thought that was fantastic. It should be by the state, because there are some states that would love to learn, like, let's say, what, um, economics. Go to New York and learn that. But if you want to go down south, we want to learn how to fish. We want to learn how to hunt. We want to learn how to farm. And so it's like not a national thing. You can't cover everything with just one plan fits all. So that's what I was saying, such as people in Iowa. I don't know, do they have many lakes in Iowa? I'm like, no one wants to learn about fishing in Iowa. And I wasn't being sassy. I'm just saying I can't really come up with a lake or a fishing place in Iowa. So, why would you teach that there? Why would you teach? It's just silliness. Just focus on the states and let them do their thing. Let Washington protect us because it's in the Constitution. If I have to go there, I will. Article 4, Section 4. They're supposed to protect us against invasion. But this regime is saying it's not an invasion. We're welcoming them. And we're like, oh my God, do we not speak the same language? It's frustrating. And I'll stop. Thanks, Dave.
no, it's actually okay. I want people to talk. I want people to talk. That's why you're all here tonight. But I interpreted it as he was going to just, shut it down as far as the DOE being a Washington, D.C. federal government facility and give it back to the states, which I think he should do. Bill Muckler and I talk about it almost every week because it's one of Bill's 2020 books that his desire back in 2015 or 2018 when he wrote the second book, it's in there that he doesn't think we should ever have had it. It really didn't do what it needed to do. And I think as far as campaign contributions go, I'd really like to ask President Trump, during the first time, did Betsy DeVos get to become the Secretary of the Department of Education because her husband, Rick DeVos, is the DeVos of is half of Amway, and a very wealthy guy and a very wealthy Trump supporter. Was she really the best person for the job? But still, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think the states should be replace the Fed all the way down to the cities. I mean, cities got to run it and be active with it. Counties have to run it. Then it's got to work its way up to the state just to make sure that it's operating, properly. Get the programs that are being taught in public schools that shouldn't be out of there. But it's going to be a hard fight. I'm sure. Other than having a Republican Congress, it may be easy for him to convince Republicans
Right.
to do it. What do you think, Jerry?
Oh, I think most of them
Jerry.
need to go, but the Department of Education for sure. Although I believe the federal government should be involved as far as making laws, maybe 2 or 3 sheets of paper with a list of laws on them that they need to make to keep all the woke transgender bullshit out. Um, Kids are supposed to be at certain levels at certain grades. If they are not, they need to be held back until they are at that level. And the levels need to go up to bring the dumbest kid up closer to the smartest kid instead of vice versa. Teachers should
Shoot, that means I'm
concentrate
going to
on
be.
teaching. Teachers need to concentrate on teaching, and administrators, their only job is to administrate the school and to make sure the teachers are teaching what they're supposed to be, not extracurricular garbage. Um, no more of this A school and F school and all this. Make teachers easy to get rid of. If they're not doing the job, bye bye. All right, that's it. Get rid of the freaking union. If there's got to be a way to get rid of these unions. These unions are over. They're like the government. They're no different. They're bloated, and they defend bad behavior and bad workers and everything else. And they basically cause the cost of living to go up. And unfortunately, we're paying more, but like in the case of education, we're getting way less of a product than we did when we were all in school. Because these kids, by the time they're out of high school, didn't know shit that I knew in middle school, which is that befuddles me. It really does. Idea how that can be. These kids are getting out. I mean, it used to be there were kids when I was growing up that got out of high school. It was a big thing back in the 70s, that couldn't read and write. And most of them were sports stars because they were passed through high school and then they were passed through college and then they either made it in the NFL or they ended up, with nothing and couldn't read and write. And there was a big thing about that. And that's right around the time the Board of Education came around, or, the Department of Education, rather. And these woke school boards and all this other crap, that shit's got to go. The only thing that matters is that they learn their math and their science and all that. Bring back arts, bring back music, stuff to kind of have them, kind of well versed in a few things. Because high school is basically for a lot of these kids is their entryway into life. Some of it's an entryway into college, which, from what I can see, is a vacuum of horribleness. But like me, I didn't go to college, but I also knew a lot of stuff when I got out of high school. Not to mention what my parents taught me. That's part of it. Obviously, the schools should be hand in hand with parents. It shouldn't be the schools think they own your kids, and that's the problem now. They think they own your kids, and like there was a story I read today. I think it was this morning, very early. Lady did not want her kid to go to the transgender class to learn all about that bullshit. And she called the school and wanted to know if there was an opt out, and they said, no, this is mandatory. The schools have no business teaching that. None. No business.
Wow.
So, yeah, the Board of Education should be kicked down the road along with the IRS and possibly the FBI. Because you get to a point with these agencies, and there's just too much wrong with them. And you got to scrap them and maybe start over, or just say, you know what, we'll move on without it. The FBI was started during World War II, mainly. Well, it was before that, but during World War II, they caught spies, they caught agitators, stuff like that. But since then, they really and it didn't take them long. I mean, look at in the 50s, they were, everybody was a communist, and they were spying on everybody back then. And they're doing the same thing now, only more sophisticated and a lot more people. And if they come for you,
Mhm.
they're going to get you, and you're screwed. Because if you ain't got the money to defend yourself like Trump did, you're screwed.
Yep.
So,
With the FBI and Chris Wray being Trump's replacement for James Comey in his first term, you think Chris Wray will be shown the door this time? Somebody else will
I
come
think
in.
I think Trump will say the oath, and when he says "So help me God," the next two words will be "You're fired, Chris." 3 words, I guess. Yeah, I think he'll be gone as quickly as humanly possible.
Now, some things that they've
He was a
said on,
bad
you think
pick.
Hillary Clinton will get
No,
finally dragged into court and prosecuted for things, or
nope,
yeah, there were other people, you know.
nope.
Nope. That ship has sailed and they're not going to dig it up. It's
Yeah.
too much money. It's too much heart. It's too much heartache. It's too many opinions. And if we could go back to school, would that be okay? Can I talk about that,
Yeah,
Dave?
absolutely.
I love what Jerry said about the NFL and these people that are NFL stars and basketball stars. Why? I'm not arguing with him. I'm just saying that's a very good point because everybody is so different. Why does everybody have to fit this one size fits all? Why do we all have to go through the same stuff in school? The NFL guy is not going to tell you what the what's it called? The world famous quadratic equation is. I know it. I don't know why I know it because I had to memorize it to repeat it on a test. No one's ever asked me for it again except for in my kids' school.
Yeah.
We need to come up with a better education system that people are focused on what they do, like my daughter. And I'm kind of sensitive about this because she is like so left brained. I'm like, girlfriend, you are like type O blood like the rest of us. You are right brain. You can think like both because you're a girl. We have this weird thing joining both sides of the brain, but still, she's very, very artistic. She was the ballerina, she's the poet, and now she's a singer, and she's good at everything she does. And she is failing. What is it? Economics. And this, you know what her teacher's name is? And I'll tell you. No, I'll change it. It is the same thing without disparaging her. It means the same thing as her last name, careless. It's not careless, but I call her careless because it means the same thing as what her last name is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman, and she is failing her in economics. And I'm like, this kid cannot try any harder. And I send the counselor, the principal, and the teacher the same email. Please let her go on this retreat. She's a very good singer. She's in like advanced senior women's choir and she's only a junior. Let her go. So
Yeah.
they let her go. And so this teacher changed her grade from an F to a D. And I'm like, okay. And she's actually excited about this. And I'm like, if you don't know this information, you're
Right.
never going to use. Who cares? She can go like she could graduate like ahead of time and go into what like Broadway.
Yeah.
She sings that well. They all do. All these kids do, but we're repressed or they are repressed so that they can fit this program that is one size fits all. And that's why I'm really excited that Trump is trying to put this back into the states and take it away from national. but I still don't think we'll get it. It's frustrating.
Well, some of that also is that if you go back and look at like what when I was in high school, they had we had a coach, I think the one of the football coaches who taught PE was also teaching an English class. Another one was teaching math, but that was okay
Right.
because Louis Roach was a smart guy, so he might not have had a degree in teaching English, but he was a smart guy and and he knew what he was teaching. But there were others that were teaching history classes that maybe were a couple of chapters ahead in the history book than than where the class was at
Right.
the time. But so maybe
You know,
maybe it helps. Maybe it helps clean out teachers, like you said, Jerry. That they
well,
always
that's
said
our
it's hard to
biggest
get
problem,
tenure,
Dave.
but it's hard to get rid of them. Go ahead.
That's our biggest problem. We got bad teachers. We got bad administrators who seem to think they're in charge and not the parents. And Jen's right. You know, I learned a lot of crap that I don't remember and never been asked about it, so that's probably why not. Okay, but I did learn a few things. I learned math. I learned how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, so I could, I don't know, count money. Which anybody who has ever been to any place, if the cash register goes down, these kids today do not know how to count change. Obviously, no one has
Right.
a checkbook, so but I learned how to balance my checkbook. Stuff we needed then.
Yep.
It's much different now. But
Yep.
bring back writing in cursive because whether you like it or not, people still do that. Can't print your name as a signature. It's ridiculous. Okay, you can't do it. And not to mention, there's like you could have a lot of elective classes for, as Jen was saying, the different interests. Bring back shop classes or like tech school type classes on mechanics
Yeah,
that like Jen was saying with the farmers around here, we got the whatever the hell it is where they go out and learn how to do disgusting things to cows and stuff and that kind of shit.
okay.
I'm not exactly
FFA.
sure what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
kind of thing. You know, or you want to learn how to fish? Go by a river, throw a thing in the line. If you starve, you're bad at it. Go to the store and buy something. Okay, I mean, but there's a lot of jobs that you can have with. Back when I was in school, it was a 3-hour block, and you would go to whatever tech class you were in, and you would learn electrician, auto mechanics, auto body, stuff like that. Also computers now, because obviously, but there's always going to be cars. Okay, there's always going to be electricity, at least in our lifetimes and the following lifetimes, probably for quite a few generations. Right, so you need people that know how to work on that stuff, and you can start in a job immediately. As an electrician, for instance, you're not going to start as the electrician because you got to be licensed, but you can work your way up and then make one hell of a damn lot of money. And then you have some other kid helping you that you can make crawl under the house or, dig the ditch and do all that crap you hate doing because you've already done it. But, the schools can be a lot more well rounded. And when you have more well rounded schools that are actually teaching subjects instead of injecting race into, like, I don't know, math, okay, you have more well rounded kids getting out of school because I got news for you. These kids should be going to school 365. I don't care what anybody said because there are countries out there that they do, and they're way ahead of us on a lot of crap. What the hell
I
was
just turned
that?
my
Yep.
mic off. Well, the dog heard going to school 365, and she
And
just
he cried.
she just did she
Oh, is that
just
what
did
that
not
was?
yeah she just did
I
not
thought
she
Dave was
just
living
did
near a
not
haunted river or something.
no,
That was scary.
yeah. She's okay. She's okay. She's a husky that that joined the family
Oh, I've heard about them.
recently, and she's not used to a rotation of where they rotate who's out every few hours because they can't have all 6 of them out at the same time. They'd either kill the humans and take over the house, or just take over the house. But yeah, so I try to keep the mic off when that's happening. Randy,
That's
what do you
cool.
got to say? Anything?
He's on mute.
Wake up, Randy.
He's on mute.
Oh,
You're on
Randy,
mute.
you're muted. You're muted.
Doesn't matter how loud you yell. Doesn't matter how loud you yell, Dave. He's on mute. Yeah.
if he
All
can't
right,
talk, doesn't
all right,
mean he's dead.
until Randy figures out how to turn on his mic, and I turn my mic off.
Helen Keller.
Chuck, what do you have to say?
Oh, not a whole hell of a lot, but like when Jerry was first talking about that, holding kids back, I said, "Shit, I'm gonna have to go back to grade school."
Oh, that's funny.
I
know,
it,
I should have been
I
held
told
back
my
3 or
kids
4 times throughout my schooling.
I'm
I should have been
telling-
held back.
I told both of my kids, I said, I really don't care how you do in school, but you better know how to read. You better know how to do math and, English, spelling and all that bullshit. And, as far as algebra and stuff, I've never used algebra in my adult life. I've never used, some of the other bull crap that they, were forcing down our throats in school. And, I made it.
Test.
Common sense.
There he
I
is.
passed
Can you hear me now?
Yep. I
Yes.
passed algebra only because Mr. Headley took roll by the homework assignments. You walked in, you put your homework assignment on his desk, and then that's how he called roll. And he'd always get down to mine, and it would be, Mr. Headley, I didn't do the homework because I didn't understand it. Or I only did, if you asked for the even questions, then I had two books. One had the answers to the even questions in the back, and one had the answer to the odd questions in the back. And I said, I only did the ones that you asked for today. Because the answers were in the book.
We had that too. My dad would ever caught me with the other half. We never got the other half. We never, the ones that were in the book, we got the other half of them.
For some strange reason, the year that they put me in the algebra class in high school, some of the books had one side of the answers and the other had the other. I don't understand how it worked, and it was
We tried that.
But
they didn't do that with us. We tried. We looked. It didn't work.
I couldn't figure it out forever, and then the only reason I learned anything like that was the chief engineer of the college radio station said, you have to be able to do the math to do all the meter readings that the FCC requires every 4 hours. And if the computers that do it for you go off the fritz, you got to know how to do it. So he sat down with me for 6 months, and each day he'd give me an algebra equation, and then if I got it wrong, he taught me what I got wrong, and eventually said, now you know how to do the meter readings. But the basic math, you got to know basic math.
What gets me about when I was in school is how right we were about so many things when we said we're never going to use this in the real world. We use math in the real world, a little bit of science. We use physics every day of our life. We just don't know it. If you have something large to move and figure out how to do it, that's physics on how to move in a movable object because it's bigger than you, kind of stuff. We do. I don't know about anybody else. I didn't take physics in high school. I don't think we had it. Nobody was that smart. But math, English, obviously, although the punctuation, I may have been asleep that week. Punctuate. I throw commas in every now and again to make it look good. Maybe a semicolon that's put in the wrong place. But it's all good. Anyway, I guess Okay. Guess he's pissed.
Who?
Dave, we can
Randy.
hear him. No,
Yeah, that's right. I'm just see. That's another thing. You know, when you put your mic on, mute, it should wait like 30 seconds and then or 60 seconds, then come back on. Although I'd get in trouble because I'd be yelling at somebody in the house or whoever called me on the phone. But I think you're 100% right, Jerry. And looking back on it, I should have taken auto shop in high school and just to get a knowledge on how to do a lot of stupid repairs that you can do yourself, as well as learning what you know what your mechanic is doing. Fortunately, for me, I had one mechanic who used to let me stand next to him. Well, close enough that I wouldn't get hurt or something dropped from under the car. And he would tell me and show me what he was doing. And
Yeah.
you know,
My dad taught
that was
me
much
auto
easier
mechanics
than
more than anybody to this day, and now YouTube teaches me the stuff I don't need or
yeah,
don't know. But and we are. We remember when the internet came out because it was all very exciting, all the internet, blah, blah, blah. No one could afford a computer really, but nevertheless,
right.
it was on TV all the time, commercials, the whole nine, the countdown, everything. And now we actually have at our fingertips either a phone, a desktop, or laptop, or tablet, or whatever, all the knowledge in the world that you could learn from. And the problem is many people are not using it, and that is a problem because
It's
that's
yours.
how I learn how to do stuff. I sit here and Jen is what all your kids you have at one point or another homeschooled, so you are basically the teacher. I don't know if you're licensed or any of that, but you still had to read the material and then figure out how to teach it to your kids. Um, you've done a much better job than women or men who go into teaching, go to 4 or 5, whatever it is, years of college, go into a school and then start, coloring their hair purple and telling them, United States sucks, that kind of stuff. I just feel like we need more teachers that just are teaching a subject, whatever that may be, and they need to be some kind of like if you're going to teach auto mechanics, you should have at least worked on a car once in your life. If you're going to teach English, then that should be your major. Math the same way, and you should be able to also, because I had an English teacher in 12th grade, and that if there was ever a woman who should not be teaching, it was her. We'd have spelling words every week, and every week she needed the class to pronounce at least 2 of them for her because she couldn't even
where's
pronounce the damn word. Okay, and throughout school, my dad was one of those who the teacher was right. Regardless, a teacher could have shot me 4 times for zero reason, kicked me in the head, and then threw me in a dumpster, and it still would have been my fault. Okay, but
Right.
in 12th grade, I finally won one when I told them because I was in trouble for something. And I said, I tell you what, you call her. This was a Friday night. I said, you call her Monday. And if you don't think she's stupid, I'll do double whatever it was you were going to give me for granted. And he just looked at me and I was like, you go, okay. And he came home. He didn't say nothing for a while. We were about halfway through dinner and I just looked at him and said, so? I said, well, I called her. You were right. It's like first time and last time I ever won. But we need to have teachers. Used to be teachers are very dedicated. I believe there's a lot of them that still are, but I think those teachers are sick of the woke bullshit going on in the schools and so on, and all this and that and the other. So it's like I don't know. I think when it comes to there he is. When it comes to schooling, I'm going to listen to like Jen because she's actually, and I do believe school has make the student well-rounded, and there needs stuff other than the like four basic things that you have to learn in order to have any chance of survival in life.
Wow, thank you. What I love most about homeschooling is that I was able to like know exactly what each kid had to do to get through to graduate, but also what they love to do and what they could do in the future to make money, because nobody wants to learn all these math problems and math equations and science equations to do something they do not want to do. And that's exactly what's happening to my youngest, who loves going to school, and I love that she is too, because they're teaching her something I can't, and that would be choir and whatever they, I mean, from the day she was born, when she would cry, we called her Lala because it was like a song. It was crazy. I'm like, dude, the kid's crying, but she has octaves. It was awesome. And so she's going for that now. And so anything that's getting in her way is the stuff that she has to do to get through. So I'm trying to make it easier on her. Like, okay, what she's going through in economics is supply and demand. And I'm like, even her boyfriend is like, honey, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, dude, for this kid, it is. But the most encouraging thing is her favorite character in all of history, and that is Gillian Lynn. And who she is someone who is just as misunderstood as my daughter is. And she was like in a room, they were trying, she liked to sing, she liked to act, she liked to dance. And so she was in a room trying to be casted. And this is like way back when, I mean, my gosh, girlfriend was born in 1926. Anyway, so it's back in the day, and she's in this room and she's listening to the music and she's dancing to this like elevator music while they're trying to figure out where to cast her. And they saw this, and this is what we have to do to the students today. They should have done this through history. Figure out what their niche is. Well, she turned out to be a choreographer. She choreographed what's his name? Christopher Lloyd Webber's Cats, and she also choreographed Les Mis. I think that was the one. She's
Wow.
amazing. She danced. That's
Yeah.
what she did. But they were trying to push her through these like other classes that had nothing to do with what her niche was. So I think if it's sports, if it's dance, if it's the arts, don't let the schools make the children uncreative so we can push them through the process. I think reading and writing and basic math skills are a given, but wow, we've really taken it to an extreme, and I'm so thankful that Trump is not wanting to make this a national process.
Well, I
I
agree.
think
And you know what? It's exceedingly important that teachers are also trained how to recognize these things, because I think we have forgotten to recognize in the young what they might actually, because well, they can take an aptitude test, but that doesn't really tell the whole story, you know, because
Right?
the only ones who truly know the kid is the parents, because they live with this kid, and the parents should have some say in where the kids' classes go. Yeah, the basics have to be taught. There's zero way around that. You can't own a business if you don't know math or read or write or know some sort of big words once in a while. Okay, or even get a good job. All right, you're going to end up working digging ditches your whole life. All right, but you got to be able to. If the government really wanted to help and keep the children's future bright, they would come up with this not only in the schools but also outside the schools, where they take classes and do this and do that, and maybe develop into a great artist, or even a commercial artist or something. They're great commercial artists too. Photographers, dancers, as she said, and don't forget, you got to have your advanced math class, because there's people that really like the English language, or they really like math. They already have, that kind of thing. So learning pre-algebra into algebra into all that other anomalies or whatever the hell they call them, trigonometry and all that. I ran as far as I could from that, and you see how I turned out. I'm perfect, but I can still count money. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you have to know how to balance a checkbook, or at least reconcile a credit card statement, uh, or a debit card statement.
Count change.
You know, count change, count change, even if the register tells you,
Yeah.
because they made cashier jobs so much easier over the years with the cash. You type in how much it gave you or how much the customer gave you, and it tells you how much change you give back. But you got to know the difference between a $10 bill, a $5 bill, a $20 bill, ones. You got to be able to count ones. I bought something for 25 cents once and gave the person a $20 bill. And it told them $19.75. I got back $20 because the person looked in the drawer and said, "Oh, I gave you 19, but I don't have the stuff, or I gave you 20 because I don't have any quarters."
Wow.
Well, it's your
That's
fault for giving
sad.
somebody a $20 bill for 25 cents worth of crap, Dave. You're one of them annoying
Well,
people that does that.
my father, when I was probably as old as my grandson is now, he's 12. My father needed screws one day, and we hopped in the car and we drove to. It, it wasn't. They weren't named Home Depot, but it was a white and orange sign, and they were the big. They were the big hardware store at that time. And he went in and he bought 75 cents worth of screws, and he looked in his wallet, and he had $100 bill and he had a $20 bill, and he didn't want to break either one, so he whipped out his Bank America Visa card, and plopped that down. And I looked at him and I said, "Someday I'm going to grow up to be just like my old man." And we both laughed.
Aw.
And I didn't get my first credit cards till I was 62 years old, and
Damn.
I'm now paying high interest
I'll
because
tell you what, Dave.
I went out.
I'll tell you what. I hate those people that give you like, it's $20 and I don't know, fucking whatever, and then they give you that in like 2 dimes, and it's like those people are just fucking annoying. Listen, go to hell home, find you an old jelly jar, take the lid off, and collect the change once a week. Bring it down to the bank; they'll count it for you and put it in your account. Stop with being annoying. Those
But,
people are assholes. I don't care
but,
they are.
but, but if you typed in $20.10, it would round off, or $20 and $20.10. It would have rounded it off for an 80-cent purchase, so that they got that dollar. I mean, to me, it really never bothered me.
Well,
But
that's because you're a guy who gives somebody $20 for 25-cent item. That's why. So.
Wow. I was gonna ask Michael Anthony. I thought he was
see, I don't have.
wait, can I
I don't have those problems because when I type it, when I slip in a $20 bill and then 2 dimes into the self checkout, I get the right change back anyway.
They have calculators.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I wanted to ask Michael Anthony. I think he's here, but who started the Board of Education? It wasn't it was either a Rothschild or a Rockefeller, but it was one of them.
Well, I don't know who
It was
started
a
it.
R.
It happened under Jimmy.
Michael Anthony.
It happened under Jimmy
The
Carter.
order came down through the Yassinis because they were running the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers through railroad and different, petroleum, etc. So the order came from the higher anarchy, which is the Khazarian mafia, when they started to put all these things and control mechanisms in place. And they did a brilliant job at it. They teach you what you need to know, and that was to sell more pharmaceuticals and more need for healthcare. And while making you sick will make you well.
Wow. I was thinking this was all for the industrial age. And I'm like, aren't we past that? We're kind of in the informational age and the computer age, but you're right. That's scary. Do you know how many commercials are on? We just mute them. I'm so sick of it. I know every song for Ozempic. Is it? Weight loss? I don't know, but they have a good jingle. It's disgusting. That's all it's about now is pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it's when you really get it. I'm sorry, I had the camera off because I had a light on so I could read, and it disturbs my eye, and I look really weird when I get close to things. So, but yeah, you're right. They get you by commercializing and marketing. They can do no wrong. They know it all. But we see, exactly how that works. I'm just glad that everybody's really come to the point where they're realizing I was just trying to teach the conspiracies were factual scenarios. And, a lot of people knew it anyway. It didn't have nothing really to do with me, but people who do and have listened, I just felt it was really important to go through them steps of strategy because they use them on us, and we're wrong for doing it, but they're always right for doing everything, even when it's wrong. So, like we used to talk about this, 4 years ago? Wrong is right and right is wrong. And where did that get them when you look at the end of the day and how we turned the country red?
Right.
I'm just glad everybody did what they did. I'm excited about it, but there's things going on still in education. There's teachers that need removed. There's parents coming out. Kids are still having issues being told certain types of teachings and so forth. I watched a couple videos today. I don't even remember how I came across them, but it seems that there's going to have to be a definite change in that system, without a doubt. Especially when I probably should have sent it to you. I didn't think about it. I apologize for that. You would have been like, whoa. And if I do, I'll get it to you or get it to Dave or someone so it gets back to you. I don't know. We have a big fight against us. And I think, a lot of people think, hey, we're done now. We did it. But we haven't done it all the way yet. We're at the doorstep. Yeah, we stepped in. Trump stepped back out. He visited, etc. But we're not in there. There's no permanency that has taken place yet. And we're starting to see other scenarios start to come up. And it's not the people or the facts of the agencies at this point. It's the fact that those families that I kind of just mentioned to you are highly pissed off, and they're going to be, trying to still be the same old deep state that they have always been, a government over a government that truly controls the country, and they're not happy with where they landed up and how they got pushed out the door. But they allowed everything to happen. They allowed it all to blow up in their face. I mean, as smart as they are, if they are that smart, and I always said I didn't think humanity was smart enough to do what has happened in front of our eyes. It's the same as when the congressional hearing that took place yesterday. It's supposed to be about disclosure, UFOs, UAPs, etc. The truth of the matter is we didn't learn anything more but the facts that we already had. And I think I learned more disclosure watching movies.
Wow. Good point. Why, just last question for everybody. Why are they so frustrated with Matt Gates? What's it? Gates?
Matt Gates.
Matt Gates.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's a bulldog. He's great. Are they scared of him? What is the problem?
Yeah, it seems to be on both sides. I don't know what that theatric is about. I truly don't, because he's always been a rock star. Look, they tried to get him at the beginning. Jen, if you think back, they tried to get him as a pedophile. They really went after him hard. And it was all proven to be false.
Right.
So I don't know. He doesn't have a track record that looks like the rest of the idiot squads that are really out there on the left and so forth, but they're there. I don't know. I can't put that together as to why people are upset. Maybe they think somebody's better, but I think he's done a hell of a job up to this point, and I think once he gets in there and listen to his words, all I could say to anybody is, and you already know it, because you're probably like, "What? Why?" And you are in why right now. But what if these people just don't like the man? And I don't know how that works for people, but he's fought back for Trump the whole way.
Right.
Well,
Okay,
I'm
let
not
me
a fan of him
okay,
really.
go ahead.
I think he's I think I think he's had a job where his main job is to talk shit and then go vote. Now I can tell you that after seeing it, he has pretty much voted the way he talks. Many of them don't,
Right.
but he now has, if he's going to be the AG, he's going to have a real job. All right, and it's there's less talking shit and there needs to be more action. So we will see how he does. Trump trusts him. He's from Florida. Trump is living in Florida, and I voted for Trump, so I'm gonna trust his pick, and we'll see how it goes.
Wow, that's good.
Nikki, what do you think? Nick?
I think
Can
I
you
need
hear
to
us?
bring down my microphone.
There you go.
They announced today that the left, you know, Trump is doing something very unique here. The way he's dropping names and dropping his appointments, because he's not giving the media time to react to all of them because they're shitting themselves. But Matt Gaetz, because Pete Hegseth, they all said, "Oh no, no, you can't do that." And then he had whoever else, and then now Matt Gaetz, and they said, "Oh, but he was under investigation, so yeah, he can't appoint him." But he was exonerated of it. So now they want all of the documents and transcripts from the entire investigation against Matt Gaetz. And I
Right.
mean, come on. I mean, give it up already. You lost, lick your wound, go home, heal, let it go. I mean, it's just the way it is. But I don't know what it is about Matt Gaetz that they hate so much. Say, oh, he's totally
Well,
not
he's an asshole.
qualified for the job. Yeah, he's totally not qualified for the job. Well, who the hell did Biden appoint that was qualified for the job? Nobody. Who was the czar for border?
Don't step in
Uh,
it. Oh my.
you
Nobody.
talk about not qualified. Who was the VP under Biden? You talk
Oh,
about not qualified.
Not qualified to be the border czar.
She's not qualified to be the toilet bowl cleaner. I mean, come on. I mean, these people are batshit crazy. I mean, let Trump do what he does. If he doesn't like what happens, he'll say, "You're fired."
not
Believe
soon
me.
enough. He still has to get to when. Let's see. His cabinet is going to start on January 3rd, and he has to be certified on January 20th by the VP. And I'll tell you, I'm sorry, don't mean to be a negative Nancy, but the silence has been deafening. And when Biden had that smile when he was sitting with Trump, and they shook hands, I was thinking, dear God, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, not to be negative, but it's true. I swear he has like a hook and a barbed hook. They were shaking hands, but it's always a catch 22 with him. That it was shifty, and I'm just wait. We have what, not even 2 months now, it's a month and a half to get through until he can be certified or inaugurated. And I'm thinking they're still going to do something to either take him out, put him away according to the amendment, so it's not bad. So we didn't do anything, aggressive. And then Kamala is going to be 47. She just accepted this retreat too well. And then she conceded too well. And that shiny face on Biden when they shook hands, we're all like, oh, this is so good. This is a peaceful transfer, just like it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to think because it's palatable to our minds. But the truth is, this whole regime, nothing has been straight. It's always been a catch-22. Oh, we're not in inflation, but he's going to cut us a check. That's an Inflation Reduction Act. But we're not in inflation. We're just going to have to pay it back in the end and get taxed on it. Everything he's done has gotten us. It's not been so straight. So I'm sorry to be negative, but seriously, I don't trust it. I hope this happens. Okay, worst case scenario, they're going to take him out or put him away somehow, quietly or gently or just obviously. And then what's her face is going to have to be number 47. And that's why she's clapping through all these rallies. And it's because she knows that she's not going to be 48. I think he's going to be 48. And it's sick. And I hate to say that, but that's how I feel. Say something good.
I want to jump in and just say smiles on Joe Biden's face sitting there with Trump were a continuation of the conversation between the two of them in whatever bowels of the White House they were sitting in. And Joe looked at him and just said, Don, the truth is, I just want to get the hell out of here. So
or was he pooping? I don't know.
So I will make the transition as easy as I have to. It has nothing to do with Kamala becoming president, because I'm sure Trump said to him, Joe, if you step down and that bitch, excuse my English, Jen, if that takes over before I get inaugurated in January, I will come after you like you can't imagine. You will be prosecuted for everything. I will find things to prosecute you for, just like you tried to find things to prosecute me for. Because I really think that if Joe Biden is dealing with any kind of dementia right now, he's just counting the hours, watching the clock, doing as little as he has to do till he can finally walk out of the White House into the Rose Garden, get on Marine One, fly over to wherever, get on his last trip on Air Force One, and screw and go home. I really don't think he has any desire to step down and make Kamala Harris the president for 24 and a half hours. I just don't think it would happen. Plus, I think one further is the real Democrats, the Obama, the real deep state people have said to him, you can't do that.
Wow.
Because we don't believe she will give it up when it's time for her to pack up and leave. But I could be wrong. Anybody else?
I wouldn't put him past him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Trust no one.
Correct, Chuck. Yeah, but she gives it up quite a bit. But that's another thing. But my thing is, I put this on X for Dan Bongino. I'll never get an answer. But tell me what y'all think about this, because you can't trust them. I don't trust these Democrats, these liberals that are in the White House. As far as I can throw them, and believe me, my arms don't work anymore, and my back doesn't work anymore.
Oh.
But so knowing the nefarious shit that they've done to Trump over the past 10 years, I wonder. I don't know the answer to this, It's a simple question. Does the Secret Service, when the exchange is happening, when the Secret Service, when the exchange happens, and there's a null in the White House, yeah, I wonder if they run everybody out of there, and the Secret Service goes in there and does a clean sweep of that place.
Wow.
Drug dogs, bomb dogs, everything you can imagine. Because I don't trust these son of a bitches to not plant some shit in there. And, Biden's son left some dope somewhere or something. I mean, I hope they do that. I don't know if they do that or not.
They do it daily.
Not when
The pink cocaine got found, and I don't think it was Hunter's, to be honest with you. What I was able to find out when that occurred, that it was actually hers.
Oh,
who, Kamala's?
Yeah.
KJP?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, KJP or Kamala?
KH.
Mrs. Harris.
Kamala Harris. I heard the same thing, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we all kind of like. I mean, there's no fingers to really, but I mean, yeah, that's what came out of it. And that came from people that knew who was in the building when, and they knew they checked that area and it wasn't there. And she was on that floor. She was in those offices. I'm just saying. And when it comes to pink, I don't know if you guys know about the pink Keller stuff. It's what we're talking about. But it refers back to the Hollywood glam type thing, scenario. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit. Anyway, Hunter is a crackhead. This was for snorting purposes only.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
How
too
do
easy
you all?
for. Yeah, I always thought it was too easy for that shit to have been Hunter Biden's. That just seemed way too easy to me.
Yeah.
And
I never believed it was his. I always thought it was someone else's. And my first inclination was Harris. I mean, because the woman, that cackling shit she does, and she seems like she's high or drunk at any given time when she's doing something. And
yeah,
but somebody had to have seen that, because there's cameras everywhere. Like Dan Bongino said, there's cameras all over that place where all these little
there's
lock
cameras
boxes are.
that watch the cameras. It's the
Somebody,
most secure
somebody
building in the
had to,
world.
yes, somebody had to sign into that box and check it in and put something in
Yep.
it.
Well, there's probably a few that can walk through the door without being checked.
Well,
And
I
that
guess
would only be two,
VP.
the vice president and president.
Yeah.
I mean, where do the fingers point? Where do they point? You know what would be nice? If, and I saw this as somebody created this, is if they got the Cabbage Patch that's up there now as the press secretary to come on board for Trump and force her to tell the truth.
Oh yeah. See
That
if she
would
could
be
lie.
amazing.
See if she could lie her way out of that bullshit.
And yeah, I mean, could you imagine her saying, I was forced to say all these things, you know?
Yeah, forced to lie. And did anybody hear the story that broke today? I believe it was. Remember the pipe bomber at the DNC and the RNC
Right.
when Kamala left the Capitol and went over there for ungodly reasons whatsoever, because she never talks about it and never explained it. Well, the FBI claimed that, well, they had video of somebody and all the cell phone data was corrupt. Well, guess what? Now that Trump won, the phone company said, that's not corrupt. We know exactly who it is. Ooh, see?
Oh, yeah.
FBI lied.
Oh, God. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it's like Jerry said earlier when I
I-
asked you. I
Shocking.
think Chris Ray is. I think Chris. I think it's going to be the family down the TV set. 7. I watch the to see how.
He's got to go. Like Jerry said, he's got to go 2 seconds after Trump is named president. He needs to say, Christopher Ray, you're fired.
He's probably
Awesome.
expecting it already. I would ask Michael
Oh yeah.
if that conversation has even already taken place, but the rest of the world just hasn't heard about it yet. You know, I don't know who will come in.
Which conversation are you talking about? I'm sorry. I just got something. No, I apologize. I got something sent to me, and I'm trying to figure out what it is.
That's okay. Chris Ray, as far as the
Yeah.
Chris Ray is not stupid. Chris Ray already knows he's gone. He knows
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's no doubt about it. Many of them know that they are, or they're just going to leave on their own.
They won't get fired, so they don't lose their pension or whatever the hell they get. If you get fired, you lose everything. So
they should lose.
They should lose everything. Here's the thing. When I think about it, I know, I hear a lot, and I don't want to be, the guy that's thinking one way and my way is the only way. That's not it, really. Everybody should get what they want, but however, they can't, because the people are the ones that voted for the presidency and this man. And they put their faith into him, not knowing which direction he was going to go. And now we're seeing all these people being named. Some of us aren't liking them, but it's not our place to like them. It's his place to like them. And we don't know why he's making these choices. And maybe we'll soon find out it's for the better of all of us, and for the ones who didn't vote for him, perhaps. But, when you look at everything that has happened, and it's so catastrophically large, where people died, family members, people mandated, lost their jobs, lost their homes over it, the depth and complexity of how serious they damaged the American people, the middle class, and the small class. If you want to look at it that deep, they also had their disadvantages in many ways. It's going to be impressive to watch it pan out. But the one thing that I always have heard, and it came from a lot of people in ways, and a lot of our own voices, people want their day, and they don't care that it's going to upset people, because we have a justice system that tore us new assholes, and that's exactly what they did. And Trump and many other people, and our lives torn to shreds, 6 feet apart, all these different things, businesses being lost, stealing from the pandemic fundings, people getting illegal monies. The actions of what occurred were just beyond what we will ever probably live again to witness anything like it. The people have spoken, and they want their day. And I think Trump needs to reflect on how he handles these people. And I know he has his list of names, and he's going to do things. And I say forgiveness doesn't always work when there is a root of law that says wrong is wrong. And I think he's going to go that way. I know some people don't agree with that being the best way. Forgive and forget. How do you say that to people that lost I lost 4 family members that got vaccinated? How do I say they don't deserve to have their day of righteousness and law to stand up for them? And I'm not the only person with a family that lost people like this. There's an enormous amount of people that did, but also lost from other scenario problems. January 6th, the Sixers. Think about it. People want their day. They want their retributions as well. And, with that, I mean, whatever he does, I won't judge him for it because he's doing it for everyone that suffered. And I think that's a good thing. And maybe I'm wrong for thinking that way because I know there are other people out there thinking, well, we should just forget. And how do you forget for the people who are still sitting home, waking up in the morning, or still reliving 9/11 and all these other incidences and wars and rich men in suits running countries, putting us to death by sending our children, your mothers, your fathers, your grandfathers, your sons, your daughters to die because they knew it was a great way to make a buck. And with us knowing everything we know now, how can we not use all avenues within all the measures of the laws? How can we not do that for the people?
Well, aren't there like 20,000 indictments ready to roll or something
No,
that I've heard?
no,
No,
that's no. But I will tell
Okay.
you what has been sitting pending, and David Wilcox even talked about this. And they pretty much tried to destroy his career for exposing us due to people that were coming to him with the information. This is an ongoing investigation since the first day Obama walked into the White House, and they wanted to take Obama out of the White House. They had a movement to do it, and then they decided to go with Trump and say it's going to look better in the country if we expose them, and they self-exposed themselves. They destructed the destruction of their own within their own party. They killed it
right.
over
Yep.
greed, hate, and power. That we can just do this. And they need to be severely punished for it, every single one of them. But no, there's roughly around, from what I understand, the count was around 33 to 3,400 warrants. And I don't know what they're for, but I do know that was told to me.
Okay. All right.
That doesn't mean that I have a source and I have intel and it's military. No, it's not that. But it comes from a very favorable person who has guided all of us anytime I talked.
Okay, let me just jump in for a second. Jerry Michaels left the building because of a bad storm down in central Florida, which means that it will probably work its way up here at some point. People said that earlier back in the live chat that my audio for me sounded very Florida. The airwaves are probably screwed up tonight, so I apologize. What doesn't happen tonight is the freezing that normally happens on just about every broad. What do you think about what's going on?
Well, your sound is much better now. It hasn't crackled.
I moved my mic closer. Also, right now, the air conditioning vent is on, so that could be static that people hear. I did move my desk mic about 6 inches closer to me. I hope that cleared up any.
Much better.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'm moving to where we are going.
Yeah, don't move it again. Leave it where it's at.
I won't. Well, I'll move back. Because I'll leave it where it is when I'm on a broadcast. I'll F you on it, and I don't really.
Well, don't let it be the first day with the new hands every day.
No.
I mean, I'm cuffed. But
No.
But otherwise, I think Trump is doing the right thing. A lot of people don't like some of his picks, but Trump has a method to his madness. He's pissed. And like Michael Anthony said, I agree with you, Michael. Fight fire with fire. Enough of this bullshit that, we're going to let bygones be bygones. And look at the bullshit they put Trump through over the past 10 years. All of the indictments, 2 impeachments, everything you can imagine. I can only imagine how pissed he really is. He doesn't show it, But if it were me, man, I'd be going full bore on these sumbitches and saying, okay, you're guilty. You're guilty. We're coming after you. I'm cleaning house. And then I'm going to get my people in now into the positions that
I didn't
that
think
will,
it was for me either, Dave. I'm sorry. I'm with you.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Nick.
But
Yeah.
but
He
but
sent me something that made me laugh. And
I was in shock actually when you asked me that question, and my brain was in shock. I'm like, what am I looking at?
I looked at what. Well, can I tell people what it was?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Michael sent me.
I didn't
Michael
want to
sent
say
me
it
a
because I
message
was like,
that showed in the last 28 days something like 192,000 views, and then it broke it up and showed how it was. And all I saw was 192,000 views and the scale that broke it all down. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, there is 192,000 people watching us on Facebook right now. We wish they were, but they weren't. So that's what I was laughing
well, every month I get a stat.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for the month of October, the past 28 days. I was like, whoa. I mean, because I don't know who's listening. I don't know radio. I don't know you know what I mean? When it showed up, I was like, what the hell am I looking at? Because I really never seen numbers like that in quite some time. I mean, to be perfectly honest.
The sad thing about it is, you and I have had lots of conversations about this before. What if that 192,000 in the last 28 days isn't right, and it's actually much higher, but that's all they're telling you? And we'll
never, I don't care. I'm happy with that. I mean, I didn't think I'd reach them that fast.
Yeah.
Now is that a cumulative over October, Michael?
Yeah. It really surged in October when I guess I don't know. I'm still studying the chart, and like I said, I was like trying to figure it out. See, first I got to think that there was a message for me, and I was like, okay, so I go over to another platform per se. I hit a certain thing, whatever it even means, I'm not even sure, and it goes with insights, the insights and the graph. And it shows it how it went, it spikes and where it doesn't spike, and where it comes down, where it falls, where it levels off. But the total views at the highest point of the peak over those period of let me blow this up. Yeah.
192,411.
Yep.
I must know a little bit about what I talk about, or people just love conspiracy. Now, listen, to me, I think it weighs on the fact it's Bigfoot, it's ufology, it's Art Bell, remembering Art Bell, Halloween things I did. I mean, I do a lot of other different things, and it's compound. It's compound. So I don't know where, but I can tell you this: just doing other things outside of politics, even on Facebook, I get absorbent amount of views, as long as it's not politics. It's like these other areas are still okay, or people still like them and moved away from the politics a lot.
Now, Michael, I really wanted to ask you this question, and it's the first time I get to ask you this because we haven't been on the same show for a while. I watched a Netflix episode series, which was like 6 episodes in that one series. The UFO Files Declassified. Did you see that?
I've seen some of them because that's an older show. What I watched most recently was a really impressive one that Bud Hopkins was involved in, where it was called the Manhattan alien abduction, where 23 people witnessed the lady come out of the side of her house and rise into the
Yes,
sky.
I watched that too.
Yeah, and that's pretty magnificent when you really look into some of these things. How 23 people witnessed it. No one knew each other. They all came forward, testified. I mean, personally, I didn't see it. I don't know, but you don't put the enormity of the amounts of time into these things unless there's facts behind them somewhere within. And Bud has a very credible name in the industry. Well, he's no longer with us, and I'm happy to see his work come out because he worked hard and not enough when it comes to the focus of people who really dive in and try their best ever get recognized enough. They just don't. So this he would be happy to know that his work made it to this pinnacle, to this point of disclosure.
Yeah, those were the other one, the first one I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
was extremely, it was old, like you said, because it went way back and
Well, they
brought
give
up,
you a lot of good information, man. This goes back to the Vietnam War, the Foo Fighters, all that stuff.
yes,
I mean, yes, it's
everything.
very deep.
And then the second one, Manhattan, whatever it was,
Alien abduction.
alien abduction. Yeah, I was like, holy crap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then nobody wanted to believe it, you know.
Well, yeah, but when things happen and it's caught by the eyes of many people,
Yeah,
that's the stuff that
from
I think.
desperate people
Yeah,
who don't know each other, and they all said, yeah, I saw this happen. I saw this woman float up out
yeah,
the window or through the roof or whatever the hell how it happened.
yeah.
Like, how can you discredit that? Now, all of these people that don't even know each other, but they live in the same general area, they just happen to see it and tell the exact same story. How
Yeah.
can you discredit that crowd?
I don't know how you can. And the beam of light, this traction beam, whatever it is, beam me up, Scotty. This technology, the more we learn, the more facts I find when I look back into Star Trek, almost as if that was a form of disclosure or just a major coincidence. And don't we live in coincidences? That's all everything is, many people's minds. Yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah, coincidences and what's the other C word? Not the C word, Jen. Not the C word.
Not that
Oh,
C
come on.
word.
Conspiracies.
Conspiracies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a thing. I got a thing in the mail this morning from someone who I really look up to. They put on a lot of these conferences worldwide, and his thing to me was, "You are America's conspiracies teacher." And I was, well, gee, thanks a lot. Somebody finally is hearing what I say.
Yeah.
You were
These are the-
honored.
These
That's
are
all.
the root people who really put these symposiums and conferences on and disclosure, formats. And they bring the best in the world, book authors, all these different things. And they get up and they speak on different scenarios of different things going on in the world. Mainly, though, it's been a lot more anything. It's changed a little bit, but it's been all ufology in big ways over the years. Um, Now it's going into star seeds, enlightenment, positivity, energy, frequencies, studying uh, tones and like tuning forks, things for healing properties. Because one thing we do know about is every illness has a frequency. How you can
Right.
figure out the frequency to the illness, which they don't tell you, and in the medical industry, is every one of us has like a frequency to our DNA, and they have technology that can decipher what it is. And then they look at where yours is compared to where the sickness is, and they go down their chart and they can find out what exactly kind of cancer you have by the frequency offset that it has. Isn't that pretty amazing? That they
Yeah.
can do that, and they do
Wow.
that.
Quite amazing.
So, we come a long ways in many ways. And, it still comes back to, whatever one's going to think about it. Because I get laughed at a lot still by people that knew me. That I grew up with it. Mike, what are you posting this shit for? It's all garbage. I wonder what they're thinking now, because we see, we hear, and now there's testimonials and people testifying, and
Right.
heads of the defense scenarios, from different countries, speaking out about it, that they knew about it. They had to uh, not talk about it, you could say, but at the same point in time, they're still doing it. Like Nick Pope and Paul Hilliard was another big name, but he's now gone. He's passed, but he wrote really great books. I have a site that nobody goes into except for the elites of the industry in many ways. It's called the National Sightings, reporting sightings, something, I can't remember it. And in there is all the most important documented things that take you through this narrative of the ufology. And if you want to rub elbows with some people who really have been at the top, they are in there. Not all of them, but they're coming. They're coming slowly. And I've been doing shows with them, not just on my own platform, but jumping ahead into other larger platforms, being a guest there. So I've been talking to them and trying to network more with the people through Facebook.
Right.
And Karen Wilkinson's come aboard. Dana Louise has come aboard. David, I can't pronounce his last name. Eric the Healer, Brad Olson. These are people who are on Gaia. I talk to Johnny Enoch every day. Every day.
Wow.
And a lot of people may say, well, who the hell's he? Do your homework and you'll see how important the name is and what he's brought forth and what he's now disclosing, even through Gaia, of the corruption that's within that foundation of things. And, I'd love to be able, what I always wanted to do was be able to put something like that together without somebody having to travel to Las Vegas to watch it happen, but they encounter it every day of their life.
Right. Wow. I wanted to ask you guys something, but it's not as far fascinating as Michael Anthony's. I just wanted to know
what. Fascinating. It's just a thing.
It's fascinating. What do you guys think about? Just need your opinion because I collect and gather information. What do you guys think about Biden saying that he will not pardon Hunter? And then on the other hand, Trump is saying he would pardon Hunter. I hate the fact that nobody has consequences anywhere, but this is so weird. The one who should be doing this isn't, and the one who, what the heck are you doing, Trump? Why would he say he would pardon him? What do you think?
It's hard to decipher why it would really happen, except for the fact it's sometimes better to keep your enemies closer, as the old saying goes. But what can they do for each other? Or what did Biden actually do when Harris turned into the person that she did? Because there were really bad feelings, number one, in the White House with her. She lost most of her staff, most of the time that she was there, hiring, firing, or them just leaving. And I think there kind of was, to me, there was a hatred that came about between them all. And even though they were out trying to help her, how she chose to create her platform, they were not totally, I think, on board with it, because the agenda that they wanted, she made it fail because she wanted full throttle and they didn't. And now they're just pissed off at her because she went for full throttle. When you stand there and pay people millions of dollars, which we already know she broke laws. Al Sharpton, she gave a $500,000 to just to be on his show, but didn't give it to him. She gave it to one of his C1s, which means one of his non-taxable creations that he has out there floating to probably launder and wallet money with. are through. $500,000 just to get on his show for him to give you support. And then you got millions of dollars going to.
He couldn't take it.
Pardon me?
He's got so much taxes with the IRS.
Yeah, I can't hear him now. He lost his mic or something.
If you have to pay someone millions for an endorsement, I don't think that's an endorsement.
No, you're right. It's not. And all they did was endorse hate to Trump, hate to us. And I think people were aware of it. I was going into her rallies on the live streams, corrupting them. I was there. I was in them. You can ask Jerry, because I didn't make him, but he came in, joined me, and a few other people. And we were really going down hard on these people, because they were just blind. They're telling me I was blind. I need to do my research. I said, watch who wins and then tell me that. And I'm glad they ate their words, and I said it because I just had a really strong gut feeling that it was going to go this way.
Wow.
I never gave up on it because I thought it was what the country needed.
Right. I actually feel bad for that bald guy, Jim Carville. Is that his name? Jim Carville. He was the political analyst for Bill Clinton. And he's the one who said, it's the economy, stupid. Well, he was saying that, or he always says that. And this is the first time he actually projected that Kamala would win. And he gave all these reasons why, and one of them was not the economy. And I'm like, I am not smarter than you, but I can tell you what, we are all ticked that we cannot buy grocery and gas in the same paycheck. So I'm kind of thinking she is not going to win. So when she didn't, I don't know what he came up with, but it was something to cover his back that was like, oh, well, of course. Well, it's because of this, and this. And it's like, no, I think we all knew this was had to happen. It has to reset itself. I think it's a big cycle. And we're just in this weird phase of it. Thank God it's the uptick of the economy that we're in right now. But it just stinks. It's just, have you noticed that? It's just a cycle. If it's not Democrats, it's Republicans. And it's just, the economy's good, the economy's bad. And that's what it all depends on. And it's very frustrating that they can do anything. And it's like, doesn't even happen. It's like this invisible ultra universe happening around us. We know there's consequences. We have to pay them. They don't. It sucks.
I
I'm
agree.
starting to think that a lot of her loss, I don't know how my audio is. I'm sorry. There were storms over Florida and the internet is no good tonight. I don't know. Everything on my end shows.
All right, quit raising your hands. It's all right. It's all right. You're still here.
It's working fine. But I'm starting to wonder that maybe Barack Obama and the deep state set it up so that she lost because they needed her to lose, because they didn't want her to win. She wasn't capable of being president. Then on the other hand, I've said to Michael, I think on other broadcasts, either mine or Jerry's, or just in conversation with Michael, that I think the Democrats realize that this is Trump's term. Unless he changes the law while he's president, this is the last hurrah for him. So let him come in, let him do his years, go after him, every other, be at 45. So they can't go because they run president because he had said that if he didn't win this time, he wasn't going to run in 2028 because he's 78 years old. He'd be 82 then, and he just wasn't going to do it. So, where are we? Everybody's lying to everybody. But the Democrats set it up so that he won, so they could get rid of him. Did they run? Did they run her to hope that she ran and they could somehow take it away from her? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, she's got some explaining to do, and she's got some explaining to do to the people who donated money to her campaign. She donated, she took in like $1 billion, and as I've said to Michael before and to Jerry, she can't explain to anybody where that $1 billion went. All kinds of reports that show where every penny came from and where every penny went. You lie about where every penny came from because some can only donate 5 cents, but a corporation can donate $10 million. So it's just a game. I mean, I'm happy that
I think we're going to find out more
Go ahead, Michael.
I think you're going to find out. Your wish is going to come true. Her own staff that worked with her through this is exposing her treatments towards them and much more. And it's coming out. It really is. So give it a minute. But you bring up a lot of things all at once. So it's like categorizing all these things to give thought to rebuttal to. It's kind of hard, but
it's hard. It is hard.
The thing is this, this could have been a big trap if they really wanted to get all of us at one shot. Think about it. They could have used Trump to get to us, but I don't think they did. I don't think they will. And I don't think that's his objective, because a lot of people thought if Trump became president, he'd just hand us over to them. And I don't believe that's factual. So, that being said, we still need to stay in the fight, stay in the game, pay attention, because we don't know who's going to do what. But I will say this. There are people with enormous amounts of wealth, enormous amounts, that came together. And I think through different lights of reasoning and thought, said, we're not going to have this. This isn't going to work, because we were on a path to making China the superpower of the world while we lost it. That was the exact plan. Now the strategy is to knock China out of the strategy and bring America back into it under Trump, because they know whatever happens to civilization of the world right now will be on how he reacts and dictates the policies everywhere. And I think the first thing that's most important is this occupied of America, which we are occupied. We are not running under a governed country. We are running under an occupied entity, an outside force. You can call them aliens, you can call them people, call them whatever you want. But the fact is, we are occupied. And it has happened. They've been here a long time. And I think we're finally at the point where we ended that 1,000-year term of darkness, and we're going to go into 1,000 years of light. We're going to go into a different structure. And it's going to be a hard fix. But, I think at the end of the day, even the ones that hated him are going to learn to love him.
That's good.
Maybe audio issues. Anyway,
do you think this is going to start once the dollar crashes? Are they trying to crash the American dollar?
No, listen. When Trump got elected, this is why I'm telling you how much money's behind Trump. Overnight, basically, 48-hour period, to be more than honest with you, because it takes time to get the numbers in. The stock market and every other component surrounding it that works in the network of that went up $1.62 trillion, which means he was fixing everyone's 401k that just got wiped out by these people the past 4 years.
Wow.
Also, remember one thing. How this works is through presidencies and administrations. The corporations jump to the bad side because they need to stay in existence. And they pretty much will give donations and money as long as they're left alone and they can continue down their merry old road. And once a new president comes in, Aunt Jemima will come back. That's all I'm saying.
It already is.
Pardon me? That's my point, Dave. That's my point. You're going to see things like that. Yeah. And Merry Christmas to you. You know what I'm saying? Do not say Merry. Do not say Merry Christmas to you. That's it's just the fundamental behind business and corporate structures. That's why Trump doesn't want to really punish them. He understands they need to stay alive, but they don't. They have to stay on a line. They have to run their path fairly, and I think that's what he's looking for. But it's just the system. You know, they go to the other side. Sure, we'll give Antifa $500,000. We'll give Black Lives Matter enough money to go out and buy 6 homes. You know, whatever we got to do, just leave us alone. You know, put on our label whatever you want. We need to exist, and you know, the ones that support them, give them the money, go their route, go their way, change their labels, change their pictures, help with the ideologies. They will be rewarded. We'll leave the reward is that we left alone. That's the only reward they get. Now they got to come back and they have to reorganize, re-strategize, and start back over again from square one under Trump's administration, and RFK coming in under health, saying change every damn thing you destroyed. Take all these particles, take all these nanobots out of everything. Stop spraying the contaminants in the sky, and we'll address the problems in the sky with the sun in a more natural manner. So you are going to see a lot of these. I hear him saying something, but I can't hear you, Dave.
Okay, you can't hear me?
No, I can.
Okay. I hope they realize the gravy train, the Democrat gravy train is done. The deep state gravy train is done. They're not going, you know, Black Lives Matter, these 5 or 6 ladies that started doing what they said they were going to do and then started just taking money and doing whatever the hell they wanted with it.
Yeah, but you remember one thing.
I don't know what court.
Remember this.
Get them in and bust them for it. No.
But remember, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I hear you. I hear you. But keep in mind, the tactics of the left the past 4 years was the strong arm the corporations for money. Where do you think the $1 billion came from?
Oh,
and all the other fundamental things that they wanted. And George Floyd. I mean, don't think about it. Think about all. Don't think about it. Think about it all. Is all I'm saying. Remember who took the knee. Remember what the NFL did. Remember, you know, what the NBA did. Remember what baseball did. These people are tyrants when you can just be controlled over a political party. But what it is, it's actually called strong-arming them. They strong-armed them because they could ruin them, and they made it clear to the families that own these businesses and companies.
I gotta check out, guys.
Yeah, me too, actually.
All right, Nick.
Bye, Nick. See you later. Good to see you.
Great show tonight. Great show
Bye,
tonight,
Michael.
Dave.
Good to see you.
Glad you came, Nicky.
Nice seeing everyone.
Yep. All right.
Yes, sir.
So,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hour, Nicky. Put that in before you go.
See you, Nick.
Bon sour, Nicky.
I'm
not kicking you, Nicky. You have to leave yourself. I don't
Au revoir. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Bon sour, Nicky. The dogs are going to go crazy.
Bon sour.
You never heard the story of Bon Sour, Jen?
No, I did. I think it's so funny.
It's one of my favorite Facebook stories. It really is.
That's great.
Dogs are going to start going crazy. That means everybody just came home. So,
all right, we should go. We have to talk again. I can't wait till we get together again. I want to talk about another point of influence, and that would be entertainment. Because I kind of think that the scare or the fear of the Epstein client list has that ship has sailed. But now we have this new one with the P. Diddy client list. So next time we're on with Michael Anthony, I would love to ask him what he thinks about that. Because I'm like, we all know guilty as sin.
That I took from Twitter. And you know how Twitter posts don't open properly? It just has that gray bar that says x.com. I actually typed what it was. And Fonda Blair, who is like an admin goddess around conservative patriot groups, she wants him to share the list, but not as the first thing that he does. He's got other things that he needs to do.
Are you talking about
He gets
Diddy,
down. Yeah.
P. Diddy or
No,
Epstein?
she wants Trump to share the list if he has it, and if he has the Epstein list. I
I
agree.
think Trump has it.
But
I think Trump has the list.
I'm sure he does. Or
Mhm.
I'm sure he does. Or I'm sure Chris Ray has it, and Chris Ray is saying, give me a couple more days if I give you this list. But anyway, Jen, anything you want to say before we?
No, this was so fun. I was so happy to be back. Thanks.
Next Tuesday night, I hope you can do it. If you can't do Tuesday, next Thursday.
For sure.
All right, Jen.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure. Thank you.
See
Bye.
you, Jen.
Good to see
All right,
you.
Chuck.
Dave, another great show, and I want to
Glad
thank
you
again
did.
the people in the
Thank
chat
you,
there for
Ian.
joining us. It's
let's
great
see.
to have people join
Yeah.
in. So yeah,
Yes.
all right, you got to get going because you're over time here.
Yeah,
So
Monday and Wednesday, people want to see you on too. 10 a.m. You got to start escorting us through the broadcast.
yeah, take the jobs whenever they
Yeah, I
are.
know
So
you do.
sometimes I am, and sometimes I'm not. So everybody,
All
take
right,
care,
so-
stay safe.
Awesome.
All right, you
Bye.
too,
Bye
Chuck.
bye.
All right, you too, Jen.
Bye. I'm trying to go. Sorry. You kick me out anytime you want because I'm having trouble
I
getting
hate
my.
doing that, Jen. It's so mean. Okay. I used to call it the parachute, and when it was time to go, I would just hit the camera and kick people off. I'm sorry for the kind of frazzled opening to the broadcast. I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. So when I went live at 7 o'clock and the whole gang wasn't here, my brain kind of froze for a moment and I wasn't focused, and I apologize for that. And actually, I still think this was one of the best broadcasts we've done in a long time for Boogie with the Bull, Tuesday and Thursday. The format's going to change a little. If you're in the live chat on Facebook, on my profile on Facebook, and you want to be on the broadcast, come in, ask for a link, and come in. Because people are putting awesome comments in the live chat, but trying to 6 people or 5 people and me on the cameras, making sure we're not killing each other, and try to read monitors and deal with people who are putting in the audio bites. I'm really sorry. It might be drivers, it might not. It could just be bad weather. Uh, and we do our best to deal with the problems that we have when we have. One day the weather may be doing it, the next day the weather might not be doing it. Right now the air conditioner is going, so it could sound like rain to people. It could sound like I'm in a hollow tunnel with water flowing at 900 miles an hour. I just am not in control of certain things. If I win the lottery, I'll build the studio. If I fall into a bucket of money, I'll build the studio. But for now, we just do with what we have. We kind of do the best with what we have. And Craig, if you ever have a couch in Florida, you could probably write a book based on the sessions that you might have with me. So for Jerry Michaels, who said bad weather took him out, and Randy Rhodes, who had to leave for genealogy work, I'm sure, and Chuck Cook and Jen Woodruff, and Michael Anthony. It's always a pleasure to have Michael on when we can have him on. If you are in the live chat and you want to come on, come on. Tonight would have been a good night to have the whole 9 people that I could have had on, aside from me. My head's kind of bouncing between some issues, some things that I have to take care of, and I got kind of fidgety, and so my mind wasn't quite focused on the broadcast, and I apologize for that. I didn't share things in the live chat as often as I normally do. I just kind of got, I don't know what the audio problem was. I unplugged the snowball, thinking that maybe that might fix it. If it didn't fix it and it sounds bad, it's bad weather here in Florida. That's all I can tell you. It can be bad weather here in Florida. It can be bad weather between me and Restream. It can be bad weather between Restream and Facebook. It can be Facebook just screwing things up because they like to screw things up. You know, I don't know. I am so tired of dealing with the possibility that it could just be Facebook screwing things up that I'm actually looking for another place to to fix it. Well, there could be that goes into Snowball because it's not really 100% true broadcast quality cord. It was just something that I found at the last minute because I needed a cord for the Snowball. I will break down and order the cord for the Snowball and wait and just not use it again until I have the right cord on it. And we'll look at the drivers in the new laptop. Maybe that's the problem. I really don't know. If it's not happening now, I'm using the mic on the new laptop. And if it's not happening now, then that tells me it's probably the cord that goes into the snowball. And like I said, the cord into the snowball is a temporary fix. It's not a real cord. It was just something that was the only cord they had when I needed a cord, and I would have had to wait like 4 days for Amazon to be able to get me the cord that I needed. We tried that, Craig. So we'll see what we can do. I'll see if I can get some time with Dr. David Novar, and we'll just go through and see if we can see if it's drivers. Honestly, I don't know. The Snowball is a great mic. I know other people that use it, professionals way above me in broadcasting that use it, and they don't have any problem with it. They put it on the desk, and it works fine. And then, me, I put it on the desk. It works fine. The next day, it doesn't. If I could, I'd buy it. I don't remember the brand, but it's $375. It's the wireless headset that all of the professionals use, and I would do that. The squeak, if you're hearing that squeak is that just I busted the arm on my chair, and every time I move, the chair squeaks. So if you're hearing that, that's a squeak in the chair. There's nothing I can do about that until I fix the chair. And it's not the location on the desk. Okay, well, then the only thing I can figure is if it's not happening now, the Snowball is unplugged and the cord is unplugged. And before I go live with the Snowball, I restart the computer after I plug it in to make sure it switches over to the Snowball, and I make sure that's what I do. But like I said, I'm going to show this, but I'm not going to talk with David Novar about it. But this is the cord that we're using for the but it's not the right cord. It isn't the right cord, but it's the cord that I'm using right now because it's the cord I have. Because, like I said, to get the cord that I needed, Amazon wanted like 4 days or more to get it to me, and I couldn't wait, so I went out and got what I could do. It seemed to be working fine. Then every once in a while, people would say it's not working right. So, well, if it's still happening, Craig, it's a brand new laptop. So maybe there is a driver in the laptop that is outdated, and maybe I'll try to get a hold of David Novar sometime before I die, and I have a few minutes, and I can do it. Okay, that's all. That's all I can do. Okay, that's all I can do. Okay, everybody have a great night. This is the part of the broadcast where I say you've been watching Boogie with the Bull, Uncensored, Thursday night, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We are done for today. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with Red Friday Morning Caffeine with Bill Muckler. I'm sure the microphone issues will still be there, and I'm sure we will freeze, and I'm sure it will be as terrible as it always is. But bear with me, and one of these days, everything will be great. It could be weather issues. It probably is. Jerry got knocked off because his internet was getting really bad. Jerry's in Central Florida, and I'm in Northern Florida, so it could be that. Barbara, I'm glad that you came and watched, and I'm sorry that you had to hear the rant related to audio problems. One of these days, I hope we get picked up by a big network who says, no, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this, and they take care of it. In my professional job, if my laptop was acting up, all I had to do was say to the executive producer, take this, hand it to her during a commercial, and hand me another one, and got it plugged in, and everything was fine. But now life is not quite that easy. So, Dan Bongino, if you're out there and you want to help us, feel free. On a side note, I started the broadcast by saying that the Onion, the far right satirical newspaper, has bought the Alex Jones InfoWars at the bankruptcy auction today. They won with the highest bid. I didn't read how much it was, but they got it. For a lot, we'll give it the bull. Anyway, thank you, Craig. That makes me happy. That I know. I try to do our best. I want it to be perfect. I want it to sound perfect. I don't want there to be any glitches in the course of a broadcast. So you all go and have a pleasant evening. And like I said, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, Red Friday Morning Caffeine with Bill Muckler. We will talk about the election more. We'll probably talk about some of Trump's cabinet picks. We'll get a rundown from Bill, his commentary. We will do our salute to remember everyone deployed, both here in the United States and around the world, representing the United States. We might even talk about our new ambassadors, Mike Huckabee, who will be ambassador to Israel. I think that's a fantastic appointment. And we'll just go through everyone that Bill wants to make comments on. We don't invite anyone else to join on that broadcast, but please be in the live chat, and make your comments, and we will do our best. So, like I said, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, join us there, and then take the weekend off, and we'll be back on Monday morning. Anyway, double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end.